So let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And you can have your feet flat on the floor or about a hip's width apart. And your shoulders are aligned with your hips and your ears are aligned with those shoulders. And just imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just imagine you're lengthening your spine. And draw your ears in line with your shoulders. Your hands can be resting comfortably in your lap. And then just bring your attention to the crown of the head and relax your scalp and forehead, the eyes, the back of the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the jaw, the back of the tongue. Relax your ears and the inner ear, the back of the head, the neck. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Notice the sensation of the air as you inhale and exhale. Just notice the sounds that are in your environment and just allow those sounds to be there, trying not to have the mind run off and investigate. And then notice what's arising in the mind this evening. Maybe because for some of you it's quite late, so maybe for some of you just there's nothing going on because you're just exhausted. You just want to sleep. Maybe an image of your pillow is there. I mean, no, seriously, take a step back, give yourself some space, put some space in between the thoughts. You can imagine them, they're just arising, and they just abide. And then, when you just try it, when you don't engage, there's nothing to follow. So you might be creating a story, and then if you don't go along with that story, because it may or may not be true, that story doesn't continue. So, just look at your mind objectively. Look at if there's rumination there, or are you planning tomorrow? And because while we're allowing our mind just to wander all over the place, we are robbing ourselves of our life in a way. Every time we're not present in the moment, we're not there for ourselves or others. And all of this just takes awareness. So once we're aware of what's going on in our mind, we can actually do something about it. So now bring to mind some people of our life, and start with these people that we love so dearly. And then we have people in our life who we don't like very much. And then we have strangers, many, many strangers. Probably more strangers we pass every day than we have the people we don't like and the people we love. But for His holiness, he seems to love everyone. So these relationships are interchangeable. So that friend can become a stranger, that enemy can become a loved one. A stranger becomes a loved one. And regardless of how you think of somebody today, because it could change tomorrow, they're all just like you and me. They all are equal in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for this kind of enlightened mind. So we start by thinking there is no negativity that can't be purified. Something like that. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives, and think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience, and we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And we just also regret our delusions, attachment, anger, all of the rest. And this is really the cause of why we harm others. And just think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need the Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, facing the same way as you. And you can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva. May I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have a little section here on compassion, developing compassion, and it's part of the section on reliance. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we've harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing a wish for them to be free from suffering. Because usually when we harm someone, it's, it might be unconscious, but generally it's because we're angry about something, we're upset about something. So I think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to this power of remedy. And this is actually the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hompe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dina meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is this purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of the body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiata sawa kama sita me, sitam shriam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a humpe, vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiata sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So just imagine you've walked into a room, you flick on a switch, and the room's dark. You flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels that darkness. So you imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness, bitterness, grudges, anger, depression, resentment, jealousy, all of this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jita meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sita me sitam shriam kuru hum ha ho bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our suffering, the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think now, I think we lost internet for a second. has subtle imprints. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dina Mebawa Sitokaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa. Can everybody please make sure you're muted? Sawasidi Mawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe. And Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dina Mebawa Situkaya Mebawa Sipokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe. And Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sabasidi Mimpi Yatsa Saba Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriam Kuruhum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe. And Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahompe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra Ahom Te. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without making a decision, we're never going to do anything. So we have to make that decision first. This is what you want to do. So I have there's this one woman. She's a dancer. She's not a Buddhist. She just doesn't like killing things. She saves everything except the ants. And she came to me because she said she feels really awful because she kills the ants. So I suggested cinnamon, which is what I use here. It's very effective. It takes a little bit of time, but it does work. And she's so happy, because she had decided she didn't want to kill them. Then she went to find a solution, and the solution's working. And she said, and I feel so good when I rescue little animals. So it does take a little bit of extra time, just like removing the spiders from the shower. But if we can make a decision to expand our mind a little and just relax around maybe being late, 5 minutes later than we had planned because we've spent some time rescuing something and putting it outside. Namsa Rinpoche even says give the ants a little bit of sugar as well. So anyway, whatever works for you. But think of something you'd like to work on over the weekend and rejoice in your efforts. And keep it small, keep it doable. You can't save the world in one day. You can try. And let's just think Vajrasattva's delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you can think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate a little bit on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creative negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So we can just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, particularly right now to Tenzin Kalden and his family, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So we'll just do our 3 little verses, chanting the names of Manjushri. The Buddha, formed of 5 embodiments, the omnipresent made of 5 wisdoms, his diadem with 5 awakened ones, with all 5 eyes maintaining non-attachment, the great progenitor of all the Buddha's eminent and foremost son, arising from the world of true insight, the sourceless Dharma source, existence ending, comprised of Vajras, wholly dense and firm, the newborn sovereign ruler of the world, emerging from the sky, the self-arisen, a massive blaze of knowledge and of insight. Oh, looks like we lost Ginny. Oh, there's Ginny. Okay. And I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if I lost or the hosts lost. The host lost.
Host
Oh, well.
lost.
I'm glad we got everyone back. Anyway, thank you for persevering. Thank you, guys. Lots of love. And if there's anyone who I haven't answered an email or a text, I will get to you. I'm sorry. I look at them, they disappear. And then I'm like, oh, I need to write to that person. Okay. So lots of love, everybody. And I'll see you all
Thank you
on
so
Monday.
much.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, Karen. Okay, bye.
Thank you.